بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد وصحبه أجمعين. بخير بين بو فيديو كتير. Welcome back to another video for the Kurdish and English series. Today we're going to be doing تەواوکەری, or I've already did a couple videos today. So one of the topics that we're going to do today is تەواوکەری, or the finisher of the kar. تەواوکەر stands for finisher in Kurdish. Kar is verb. And we're gonna go along the three main points in the subject, which is بەرکار, تەواوکەری بە یاریدەی کار و تەواوکەری ڕاستە و خۆی کار. And let's get right into it. Alright, بەرکار. بەرکار وشیەکە ناویان جێناویان چاوگەیان گرێناویە ڕستەدا واتای کاری تێپەڕی تەواو کردووە یان تەواو دەکات. کاریگەری کارێکەشی کەوتۆتە سەر. The wisha, بەرکار, is a word that could be a noun, that could be a genoun, that could be a chauk, that could be a greinawi. We're going to get into all of those slowly. But inside of the sentence, this bərkar is always kari tiapar. It finishes kari tiapar. And the effect of the kar, or the effect of the verb, is onto this bərkar. Because it's in the name, bərkar. Bərkar meaning it's affected by the verb. It's affected by the kar in the sentence. And like we said, tiapar and bərkar are like brothers. They're always together. They're basically interchangeable. If you see bərkar, think of tiapar. If you see tiapar, think of bərkar. And now we're going to go into the information. We're going to talk about this green part slowly. But first, let's go on to the information. Bərkar همیشه لرستيقدا كاركي tiapara. Like we said, bərkar is always in a sentence that has a kar that has to be tiapar. And bərkar لرستيقدا نية كاركي tianapar. We just said, if a bərkar has to have tiapar, can it be with tianapar? Obviously not. Yan bikar nadiyar, or bikar nadiyar, which is the concept we talked about which is unapparent, action taker, or bikar is the person that does the action. But sometimes it's cut off in the sentence, and you have to put a placeholder. In the case of a placeholder, you cannot have a bərkar, because a bərkar has to have bikar diyar. Yani natağı bet. Eğer kâreke natağı bet, lena rıstaka da bərkar nakiyota seri. But we're gonna get to that later. Rısta da beşi kar tağı dekat u erki kâreki dekiyota ser. Beşi kar tağı dekat, meaning it adds more to kar. It adds more to the verb while at the same time being affected by the verb. Like if I say, Azad nanaki khward. Azad ate the food. What did Azad do? He ate. What did he eat? The food. So we know that the verb here is eat, meaning khward. We know that the verb or the kar is khward. What is affected by khwar nake Azad? Nanake. So we know that nan is bərkar because it's being affected by the verb, which is khward. And bikar is Azad because he's doing the action. And so, bərkar rısta binçiniye belabirni watay rısta take the shit. Bərkar, when you see bərkar in a sentence, how can you make sure that it's bərkar? Remove it from the sentence. If you remove bərkar from the sentence, the entire sentence gets ruined. There's no meaning anymore. Because the bərkar is always a foundation inside of a sentence. So you cannot remove it so simply. Bərkar rıstiyek dala kârekey tiapar bet. This basically means it can literally go on to basically anything except the thing can be positive or negative, the thing can be darajra or legdra, it can be sada, it can be dakhwazi, it can be raberdu, it can be rana berdu, it can be past, present, whatever. But it cannot be tianapar or bikardiyar, the verb. In those two cases, you don't have a bərkar. And so, let's continue. أول شاني لرستدا دبنا بەرکار. I knocked the thing. Okay. First is now. Now is name. وشيك بەرکار دێنرێت بۆ ناونان. وشيك بەکار دێنرێت بۆ ناونان. Now is a name that is used for naming things, obviously. And so this is one of the things that can become a bərkar. Gulakan, these I've erased this because of a previous lecture, but gulakanım auda. Gulakan, gul is a name. It means flower. Gulakanım auda, I watered the flowers. What did I do? I watered. What did I water? The flowers. See, my action of watering affected the flowers, meaning the flowers are bərkar in that sentence. And so here we say, my bad. Here we say gulakan is a name. Gishti in this context meaning general. Because when I say gul, I'm not speaking specifically of, nergiz. I'm not speaking specifically of like a jasmine flower. I'm not speaking specifically of a lily or a dandelion. I'm speaking about flowers in general. So I'm going to say it's a name and it's general. So it's gishti. Nasrao. How do we know if it's nasrao or non nasrao? In Kurdish, if we have, for example, this. I ignore this. If we have Golan. Golan is nanasrao because we have talked about, we just said flowers. But once we say Gulakan, this can over here, Gulakan, it's like saying the flowers. That's how Kurdish adds, specific names. Gulakan, Mamustakan, Dergakan, Panjarakan. If someone says, Dergakan Bena, I know which Dergah he's talking about because he said Dergakan, meaning the doors, bring the doors. And so that's how we know it's Nasrao, and it's Ko, meaning it's plural, Gulakan, and it's Berkar, which is the most important part of this shlova or breaking down of this word. Gulakan, it's affected by the kar, so it's barkar. The mit here, gulakanim, the gulakanim, it's an attached pronoun. And an attached pronoun that is used to show that the action taker is the first person singular, which is me. So, gulakanim auda, jenavi kasi lekao, bo kasi yakamitak, meaning it's a personal personal connected pronoun for the first person singular, and it is bekar, meaning the action taker. If they ask you, because if I say gulakanam auda, you know that I'm talking about myself. If I say gulakanat auda, you know that I'm talking about you. You water the flowers, and that is the personal attached pronoun. And now we finished. Now let's move on to the second one, which is chawg. Chawg ushega kadevek pish dadat پیشان دادات بەڵام کردەوەکە نەدراوەتە پاڵ کەسێک یا شتێک کاتی تێدا نییە. Chawg, it's like saying a general statement basically. Chawg wushieka, it's a word that shows an action, but this action is not put besides a person or a thing, and it does not have time. For example, if I say running, the boy is running. The boy is running, you know that it's a continuous action. But if I tell you running is fun, I don't really mean it as I'm saying it more as a statement rather than a continuous action that is happening or someone that is someone doing. So I'm saying, how do we know that this is a chawg? First of all, rakirdin, the n that has a noon, meaning but I'm not speaking of it as someone doing it, and I'm not bringing a specific time attached to it. Let's see the example that the book has brought. Khwardin makhwan. Don't eat food. See khwardin, if I say khwardin, it could be interpreted as an action. But I'm not meaning it as an action because khwardin makhwan. When I say khwardin makhwan, don't eat the food. I have just made this khwardin into a noun rather than an action. Khwardin makhon. How do we know this? This noon at the end is one of the signs of chawg. Not all noons, because this is a specific type of noon called nooni chawg, meaning the N letter of the chawg. And here it's used to show us that this is a chawg because it is attached to the word. Khwardin, chawg, sada. Sada meaning it is not in Kurdish, the types of words we have are sada and nasada. Sada is a word alone that is pure. It is not made up of multiple words. It's not made up of a word and a prefix or a suffix. It's a pure word. Like we said, khwardin. Khwardin is a pure word, but if I say barham, barham is made of bar and ham. So it's not sada, it's a nasada word. Sada means pure, and the most important part, it's barkar. So we can see this one has a complete different build-up, but it's still barkar. This one here, makhwan, karida khwazi, sade, area, tiapara. It's completely different, but it's still, it's showing basically the same thing. And the most important thing is that it's, you know, تێپەڕ. Here we also have کاری ڕابردووی نزیک تێپەڕ. کاری داخوازی سادەیە ئەرێ, but it's still تێپەڕ. And that's the most important part. And the noon here is جێناوی کەسی لکاو بۆ کەسی دووەمی تا کەرە. مەخۆن. This, not this noon, because there's two noons here. This noon is for the chawag. This noon over here attached to machon is used to talk about the third person plural. Like if I say machon, obviously it's, if you're a Kurdish speaker, you know that I'm talking to the, you know, a group of people in front of me. The second thing, the second person plural. The people right in front of me that are eating. And so that's really all that there is to the chawag subject to. And then we have جێناوی کەسی سەربەخۆ. Let's get to جێناوی کەسی سەربەخۆ. All right. جێناوی کەسی سەربەخۆ. Personal non-attached pronouns. وشەیەکن لە جیاتی ناو بەکاردێت لە ڕستەدا بۆ شێوەیەکی سەربەخۆی بەکاردێت کە ئەمانن. جێناوی کەسی سەربەخۆ, جێناوی خۆی. These are pronouns. And it's not as simple as English pronouns, like, you know, he, she, I, you, they, we, you, whatever. Here it's more in depth. We're talking about جێناوی کەسی سەربەخۆ, meaning the independent person pronouns. Like ئەو, من, تۆ, ئێمە, ئەوان, هەمویان. جێناوس can be, they have, like, there's way too many, but they're all really the same thing, just different, you know, different shapes. And we're gonna get into those right now. Alright, جێناوی کەسی سەربەخۆ. I'm on the second page now, like the page right after, which is page 8 on the مەزەمە. تۆ دەبینم. تۆ, right here, this is the personal independent pronoun. جێناوی کەسی سەربەخۆیە بۆ کەسی دووەمی تاک. کەسی دووەمی تاک meaning second personal singular. Like if I say, for example, second person plural, it's like I'm saying ئێوە. I'm talking about you, like you, but plural. And if I say second personal singular, I'm talking about تۆ. So this, of course, same thing. This is بەرکار because تۆ دەبینم, چی دەبینم? تۆ دەبینم. So بینین is falling on you. So the action is on you. That's why you are the بەرکار. کاری ڕانەبردووی ڕاگەیاندنە تێپەڕ. ڕابردووی ڕاگەیاندن دەبینم. ڕانەبردوو meaning present. ڕاگەیاندن meaning, you know, like basically like suggestion. But that's a different topic. I'm not going to get into it right now. The m here makes it clear to us that the debinum, the binin, is being done by us. Min to debinum. Even if I don't say the min, to debinum. So because of that mim at the end, we know that I'm talking about myself. So جێناوی کەسی لکاو, جێناوی کەس لکاو و سەربەخۆ. سەربەخۆ meaning independent personal pronoun, which is independent from any words. And جێناوی کەسی لکاو meaning stuck personal pronoun. So the mim there is there to talk about us, and it's stuck to the word, which is not the case with to. But this makes it clear for us that I'm talking about myself, and at the same time it is the بەکار. Because if I am the person doing the action, that means I am the بەکار in the sentence. So let's get to the final one of تەواوکەری کار. بەرکار. Let's get to the final بەرکار, and that is گرێی ناوی. گرێی ناوی, grey means knot, like, you know, a rope, a knot. So when you tie a knot, similarly, grێی ناوی is a knot of two names. چەند وشەیەکە لە ڕووی واتاوە پەیوەستن بە بەیەکەوە بەسراون. Words together that are connected through meaning, but also a connecting word. If you see right here, ئەدەبی کوردیم لەبەر کرد. Adab is a word, Kurdi is a word. But how do we know that they're connected together? Through this little boy E over here. When you see this E in between two names, we know for a fact that this is a sign or a connecting word between these two names, or a connecting letter between these two names. And this connecting letter turns it into a grey navi, or a knot of two names. So أدبي كرديم لبركرد. I memorized the Kurdish literature. See, Kurdish literature. We're bringing Kurdish and literature together. So I didn't just memorize literature, and I didn't just memorize Kurdish. I memorized Kurdish literature. That's what a Gainawi is. And you can find it by the E in between two names that have a similar, meaning. Create a new meaning together. And so here, this is like the breaking down. Adab, nawa, taka, gishtiya. Taka was brought twice. Nawa, taka, gishtiya, diyar khrawa. Meaning it's been made apparent. But it's a name, it is singular, it is general. And it's diyar khraw. E is amrazi danapal, which is amraz, like we said, it's like a letter or a name that doesn't really have any meaning on its own. So amrazi danapal meaning put next to. So it's an amraz that was put next to. Kurdi, here it's a name, it's singular, it's general. This is, ignore it, diyar khari nawa. Kurdi here, look, in a Gainawi, the second one is always diyar khar to the first one, because it's making the first one clearer. If I say Kurdish literature, I know it's literature, but what type of literature is it? It's Kurdish literature. So I just made the statement even clearer and gave it a new meaning by adding that word. And so that word, Kurdish there, becomes a diyar khar, meaning something that makes something else clearer. And what it has been made clearer, what has been made the diyar khraw, it's the literature. The literature has been made clear with the Kurdi, with the Kurdish over there, and so we have a diyar khar and diyar khraw relationship. That's just like common sense, honestly. Leberkir there is the action. Kari raberdu nazik, ragayandin, tiapar. Kari raberdu, it's an action that was in the past. It's the close past, because in the Kurdish language we have the concept of close past and far past, and not too far past, and continuous past. Those are all concepts in Kurdish. Ragayandin, which is a form of verb. Jenawi kasi lekaw bo kasi yakamitak bekar. We have found the bekar. We have found the bekar over here, but ignore all of this. Yeah. Come back to this. Adabi Kurdi, which is the Grey. Greynawiya Berkara. Why is it Berkara? Like, if I just say Adabi Kurdim la Berkard, Kurdim la Berkard, why isn't Kurdi the Berkar? Because we have established that we have made a diyar khar and diyar khra relationship called a Greynawi, meaning a knot of two names, between Adab and Kurdi. So Adabi Kurdi is a word together now. So you can't just throw it to the side like one of the words and just say that, ignore the meaning completely, because that has become a new independent meaning of its own. And so that's the Greynawi. The Greynawi entirely becomes the Berkar. Not a single word inside of it, but entirely becomes the Berkar. And that's all for the topic of the Berkar part of تەواوکەری کار. We still have تەواوکەری بەیاریدەی کار و تەواوکەری ڕاستە و خۆی کار. But for now, this is okay, and I'm going to do the others separately. I hope everybody benefited from this. خواتان لەگەڵ.